Good morning. It's so good to see you today. My name is Jessica Roy, and I am part of the Kingdom Foundations team. Kingdom Foundations is the ministry that hosts this Facebook group, Hearing God's Voice Through Healed Emotions. And it is my joy to be on here today with the founder and my good friend and mentor, Ravi. And we are here on Sunday morning because this is what we do. We like to jump on here, and we have about an hour of discipleship every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And I'm really looking forward to this part 2 of an interview that we started 2 weeks ago, where Ravi was talking about and telling backstory and just bringing healing through the stories that he experienced filming Father of Lights. So if you're new to the group, or you found yourself here because a friend recommended, hey, you need to go talk to Ravi or go to this group, then the context for that is that several years ago, I think it was last time we were wondering, and someone put in the comments 2012, Ravi participated in the filming of a documentary called Father of Lights, and that is put out by Darren Wilson and his team. And that was actually my first encounter with Ravi, was to see him on that film. And through a series of events, my husband and I ended up coaching with Ravi, and now we're on team. And it's a joy to do life together. But it was quite a remarkable experience to watch Father of Lights for the first time. If you've seen Father of Lights and that's how you found your way here, go ahead and tell us that in the comments. We'd love to see that. And also, we like to engage with you during this call. So if you have questions, if something that's said sparks a question for you, please put those in the comments. I'm monitoring those comments and bringing those into the conversation as I can. So we'll get to some that were left over from last time. But this morning, Ravi is coming off of a full weekend event in Decatur, Georgia. And I'm just glad that you're still able to jump on here with us on Sunday morning, Ravi. Good morning.
Amen. Good morning, Nana. Good morning. It's again, it's a beautiful day, and it's always joy to come on Sunday mornings like this. It is joy. Yeah. It's looking forward to see what the Lord is going to do today. Yeah.
I am as well. As Ravi and I were talking, we usually have a phone call during the week to kind of discuss, like, what is the Lord doing this weekend? What kind of things is he bringing healing to? And we got to talking about, well, we really need to go back to the questions, because there were several questions left unanswered last time we talked about Father of Lights, and specifically surrounding the story of the showdown with the witch doctor. So I know that was one of my most puzzling scenes that you were in. And to catch people up, if you haven't seen the film, you're still going to be able to track along with us today. And there's going to be some really great revelation and discipleship happening. But in the film, Darren sets it up that you're going out to this house of this witch doctor, and that the witch doctor actually was using human sacrifice to gain the power that he had. And that you showed up, this team of you showed up kind of to disarm the powers that the witch doctor was using. And he didn't even come out of his house. And then we see you engage with his wife. And then later, Darren asks a few more questions of you. And I just remember watching that thinking, what? How did that go? So, I mean, on the movie, it looks like it's smooth. But now that I'm on team with you, I hear the backstory, and it wasn't always so smooth.
Yeah. Well, it usually doesn't happen, but most of the time, that's how happens with powerful witchcrafts. When witchcrafts are not powerful, that's when they fight back. The greater ones know the greater one.
So this witch doctor, he was very powerful, right? I mean, in the film, you mentioned that just a few weeks before, something had happened to a pastor. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Mm-hmm. What happened is the same guy, actually, we don't know. I mean, I'm still not fully understand this concept of how this happened. But this dude, or this witchcraft guy, poisoned or cursed on a pastor and his wife, and just that is a week before, and he died. They died within the body colored up with green, bluish green body color, and they freaked out. Everybody freaked out, and it kind of Christians were freaking out to understand. Okay, there is a curse, and the pastors got killed, and we are the next, and so on. I didn't take that as a challenge. I wanted to go see this guy. Who's this guy that has power to kill a pastor? But he could have had a poison that's given to them, and I don't know what that real showdown is, because there's no witchcraft power that can kill a pastor, but a poison can, but sometimes God uses story to demonstrate his power. You know what I mean? It's powerful how God uses that his story to help us understand help us understand, because he puts a pressure. He uses what he said is he uses the hardened heart to show his glory.
Mm-hmm.
He uses unbelief to show his glory. He uses a story that a pastor died to show his glory. It's not revenge. It is the more the enemy shows the more the enemy shows his powers, the more he's coming down to his destruction.
Mm.
Powers are pride, right? Where a pride is, destruction is. So the more he shows his pride, he knows his destruction is coming close. The problem is the pride doesn't have eyes to see. I have discernment to understand what is going to destroy him. Pride blinds the eyes of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
It does not see the destruction. It only wants to destroy and kill, steal, and destroy. And it does not know that we don't know it's killing, destroying, and stealing, killing, destroying. But we do it, and then we get into the world of accepting. And sometimes when I say witchcraft can use us to use pride, you see, but the pride, so when this guy used it on them, but using on them is purely could be a poison.
Mm-hmm.
But when I heard this story in the newspaper, and I was a little, I was not scared, but I was curious.
Mm-hmm.
Curious of what kind of powers he's using, what kind of movements he's using. I never, the Lord didn't reveal that, because in my demonology study that I did in my school, there's certain demons do certain things, and certain things create certain perform certain functions of the certain way of powers that they have, and I didn't know what kind of powers he's using. I wanted to personally see him and ask him what it is, at the same time give him who Jesus is, because with that kind of power, usually he is that kind of power, he could be using one of the powerful demons anyone could have.
I remember his wife saying in the footage, we don't know what's happening. The animals listen to us. The elephants listen to us. And she was kind of going on about how people came to them for answers, and they came to them for for answers, really, whether it's physical or other things.
Yeah,
One
she
that
was,
was very, go ahead.
yeah, she was sharing beforehand too, just understanding. I was asking questions about how did that power, what was happening, and because usually animals don't listen to anybody, but accept certain kind of demonic effect, especially pigs. And but other than that, and but there are, they individually they submit individually, not in group. So it's I wanted to know what am I encountering. What I'm asking these questions to help me understand what is that, what kind of demons, what are the powers that he's meditating so that he can do what he did, what are the kind of meditation that he does, what kind of mantras he's reading, what kind of things that he's fed, and so that he could do so much of destruction in people's lives, and everything is around him. So I was asking certain questions, and she was answering these questions where animals live and the sacrifices, and she was in the behind the scenes. So it was fun curiously listening to before I go in to see him. But it was fun because what happened. So that's the point of wanting to know what was he doing, because he already came to know that I was coming, so he was prepared for my arrival.
How do you know how he found out that you were coming?
Yeah, his wife knew that we were coming, that he told her that we were coming. So he prepared to not for us to come, because I see the wide boundary around his house.
he had set up or used his witchcraft to try to get your entry.
Yeah, that early morning as well, early mornings, he put that. It's still bright, it's still fresh, that white thing around him, and I didn't notice it, but
you just walked right through.
Yeah, I noticed it when I was walking out. So it was good. It was good.
Had someone told them that you were coming, or was that something they had just discerned?
He discerned it. The demons told him that we're coming, because we were getting ready to come. We were ready getting. So he was prepared all night. And the day before, he prepared the whole day, all night, to destroy me, and nothing happened. Right? He's doing everything he could do to destroy us. And I think the destruction was not happening to us. It was destruction happening to some of the. I don't know if I should say this or not. Destruction was happening to some of people who were scared of us, scared of not going, telling us, please don't go. Don't go.
You received several people from your team or from
pastors
saying, don't go there, don't do this.
Yeah. So it was not hitting us because curses feed on fear. Right? So they were affecting by it. They were understanding that fear, their aspect of what was happening to them, and it was fun. It was not fun to see them struggling from unbelief and fear and anxiousness and things like that. But a lot of people told me not to go, and to me, that's a challenge. If people say no, that gives me a boost of confidence, saying, okay, this is God. It was a challenge, no doubt, because I could feel it, but I ignored it. Ignored the feeling that the curses was coming. I was not. We had the best food I can. We stayed in a palace, I think, that night. We enjoyed it. I think we enjoyed it. Yeah.
Now, Ravi, I have heard the night before you had a visitation. So maybe let's go to this. So when you were getting kickback from your pastors or people that were like, no, please don't go,
Mhm.
Were you scared at all? Did you have any fear? Or it sounds more like you were in a space of curiosity.
Yeah, I was in a space of curiosity because the secret here, Nana, the secret here is what I was going after was to acquire a soul.
Mm.
I was not
So you
acquiring.
were going after his salvation.
Yes.
You weren't
Yeah.
necessarily just going just to shut down someone causing problems.
No. I was interested in a soul. And for me, that my challenge was not him. My challenge was demons, but my challenge is to win him because these demons that he was playing with are going to destroy him.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to destroy him completely. They want to kill him, and then he would die without Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He would die
Mm-hmm.
not by Jesus because they blinded him so much. All his life, from the childhood till then, he had no chance to hear the gospel.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So my only challenge is to bring gospel to him.
Mm-hmm.
He heard it or not, whether he would receive it or not, at least I would give him a chance to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my focus was his soul. So when my focus became his soul, I was the exchange of that. My focus became my rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See,
You knowing your focus allowed those emotions to come in line instead of ruling you with what if or fear or things like that.
Yeah, my purpose was in a value.
Mm.
He is a God seed. He has a capacity to receive the seed from the Lord. So what I was carrying is his seed and his value.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I mean, I think I have not really, I guess, thought that deeply about this encounter of just seeing like him as someone to be rescued instead of, because the way it's kind of set up, and which that's just naturally sometimes part of the way you set things up, is that there's conflict coming. And so when you see that something has conflict, there, you're pushing away, but
Mm-hmm.
with you seeing his value kind of brought you above that natural push or of conflict into where you could see his value and you could go after that. And so tell us about the encounter that you had the night before you went.
I asked the Lord to remind me what that encounter was. I think the 2 nights before there was an encounter too. But this was a different encounter. He didn't remind me. You remember what that encounter was?
In some of the footage, or I can't remember if it was a personal conversation. You mentioned that an angel had shown up. You were staying in the palace or something. An angel showed up and kicked you out of the bed. Like, wake up.
Yeah, that was fun. That was, yeah. I didn't want to wake up at all. The Lord woke me up, but I didn't wake up. So the angel had to come, push me out of the bed. And the palace didn't have any mats. It was a hard ground. I landed it was a tall bed, but yeah, it was a beautiful palace. It's a Mysore palace, but the message that what he gave me is what the Lord gave him to tell me, that he was an archangel. It was an archangel to know that to tell me that this is what you're doing is more than what you're going after. The Lord is going to be with you. The Lord is present. His presence is going to go with you. And he didn't say, he did not. I was expecting him to say, "I'm going to go with you."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you have an archangel, man, when he opens up his sword, he means war. No one.
Sure, that bolsters some confidence.
Exactly. I thought he's going to go with me. So he came with rest. When an archangel puts his sword up and down, and the sword goes down like this, he understands. To me, he's coming in rest. He's coming in rest, and he's coming this way. It's like oh, what kind of war am I going into? You know?
Yeah.
I understood. When I saw this, I understood. Okay, there's no war. No war. I can go in rest, so that the presence is already in me to go with me. Because, and it's a promise. That's a promise the Lord made. He gave me the promise that day, that night, that He's going to go with you and He's going to give you rest. That's it. That's all I wanted. And because usually I've done this a few times. The angel never came, but it was so much of commotion, emails, phone calls, and Darren, freaking out. He's not Darren. The other guys, other guys were freaking out, and their wives were freaking out, and the people are freaking out. The prayer warriors are freaking out, and so he had to come and reaffirm that not to see what fear is, what fear is trying to intimidate me. And it was good. Yeah, it was so fun, because that's the whole point of you living in rest, is when you recognize the presence of God is with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you are in fear, the presence of God is actually the presence of God is invited. It is invited when I'm responsible to do things that God has said for me, right? So when I know I'm responsible, the presence of God easily walks into. Fear does not know. Fear is scared of responsibility. You see, it doesn't want to be responsible. Come on. I want you to understand that. Fear doesn't want to be responsible. But rest creates the awareness of acquiring.
Mm-hmm.
It goes after inquiry and obviously asking more questions to gain more answers in the rest place. But in fear place, you don't ask questions. You don't. You're intimidated. You're scared. You're, the intimidation and scared is what makes you become coward. And rest, you're curious. You're curious to what's the next step. Come on, what's going to happen next? Because when you're in the rest, you watch a movie well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't watch a movie when you're anxious. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you're anxious, you can't quite engage and enjoy it. Whereas if you're resting and you're kind of just peaceful or calm, you can kind of engage with what's happening in the story. So likewise with you can show up with the curiosity to know that you can engage, you can watch what the Lord's going to do.
It is. It's the best way to understand. So the secret behind that is, Nana, to disengage. For me to not to engage fear is to what one of the messages that the angel said is, in one word, he said, the doxa is arriving to you in this night.
Mm-hmm.
Doxa is going to come on you this night. Doxa means the glory of God. The glory of God is on you, is going to arrive in you. And with that, you're going in rest.
Mm-hmm.
I see that, because he never said you're going to win this. He said, with the doxa, you're going to rest. That means victory already happened. Because when that is the fastest way to understand that when you are in the glory, you know the secrets, and you know the secrets, and you walk in authority.
Mm-hmm.
You know the secrets, and you walk in authority. You know what's happening, because when you're in the doxa, you recognize who and what.
Mm-hmm.
Why.
So how did that change when you walked in? So when you started onto the property
Mhm.
and you're talking to his wife and he's not coming out, what did that do for you as you were there? Like, did it give you focus? Like, were you focused differently than you might have assumed?
Yeah. Well, I remember when I went in, he didn't want to come out, but he let his wife to chase me out. Uh, and his wife was not happy with me at all, um, from the beginning until the end. And when I went in, when I wanted to go, when I went inside to see this guy, he was trying to hide and he didn't want to show me his face, because he was hiding in the dark.
I remember that. So
Yeah.
was that the demonic that was hiding his face, or was that him as a human, as a person with feelings and such, hiding his face from you?
Yeah. Well, he is both, because it was he lost some of his powers when I went when we already jumped into the borderline, and he lost the power. He lost the power to curse me, but he but at the same time he was scared. He was scared of what I brought in to brought him, so that this what I brought in would destroy him. He was scared that I would destroy him, because what I carried is what he didn't carry. Right? He thought he was confronting him. I was a confrontation to him, but he didn't have anything to offer. He didn't have anything to fight with, and they were demons that made him crawl in the dark, and I tried his best to bring him out and talk to him. But what was the real aspect in that is he understood what I carry.
That's what I was going to ask. What actually shut down the powers? Like, if you were, we know it's the Lord, but what aspect of the Lord? What was the Lord up to with those powers just being shut off?
Yeah. Well, what happened there when I went in the door, he got confused, took away all the plans of the enemy in him. He couldn't remember no plans. He didn't know what plans were. He lost all the plans. He lost all the powers. His powers means plans. Powers means ideas. Powers means destruction to the enemy, right? Plans of destruction. So he lost all of that. He forgot all of that. So when he forgot all of that, he saw the plans that the Lord had, so that the Lord would, and he couldn't see, he couldn't see beyond, because he was still with the influence of the demons, but that was completely taken away. Those powers were gone. The plans were gone. Plans were healed and taken away from him. And that's what he felt so insecure. He felt so fearful
so that's why he wouldn't make eye contact or look at your face.
Because he had nothing to offer. There was nothing there in him to shut me down. Because when someone is in power, we fear his plans. Anyone who has powers have plans, and the reason we are fearful is because what he has plans to destroy us. Like his instruments has plans. His tools are plans. So when you have a tool, you can plan anything. Don't have tools, you can plan nothing, right? So his tools were taken away. It's gone. It was vanished. It escaped. It literally lost all of his power. What shocked me is he was not ready to accept Jesus. Yeah. But because it was so much of because what he was not ready is his unworthiness.
Mm.
He saw his unworthiness and the process of leaving, letting go, and unworthiness didn't know how to receive Jesus. Because when
Mm.
shame heals, the plans of destruction gets healed. Unworthiness shows up. That's important for any soul to really process God in unworthiness. And when we are ready to heal unworthiness, you see the plans of God called dark side to show up.
Mm.
To me, I was working from worthiness, worthy to. I wouldn't say this. I was coming from what I call courage, worthiness. Right. So when I'm in courage, what I'm showing him is authority
Mm-hmm.
to his powers. He had plans. I have authority.
Mm-hmm.
You see, he had
Good.
tools, but I have authority to stop his
Mm-hmm.
tools. Right. So when authority came in, tools have no choice but to surrender.
Mm.
To me, authority was given to me because I already surrendered before. But for him, when he surrendered to the enemy, the enemies gave him their plans against destroying. But what God gave me, He didn't give me power. He gave me His authority.
Mm-hmm.
I could use the way I would like to bring Jesus to wherever I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
The presence of God went with me. The presence of God. How am I saying this? The presence of God went in my heart, and His what the rest came here.
Mm-hmm.
Here, and the rest came here. Right? It's beautiful because it was other way around because the presence of God came into my. It was working constantly constantly in my heart, so that my mind would rest. See the
Mm-hmm.
point? Because I could see the plans, but if my mind doesn't have rest, whatever is in your heart don't work.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Yeah. It's like your mind is the gate to allow what's in your heart to come and
mm-hmm.
have it.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's that's shown in Exodus chapter 33, chapter 33, verse 14. My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. The presence is manifesting in your body, in your heart. Your heart is a subconsciousness that's hidden in your physical body. So your subconsciousness now is in your physical body, your presence is in your physical body, and your mind is rest. So when the enemy sees, when he sees the presence of God in the physical body, he cannot get into the mind to attack. Come on. Is the point? So when the enemy sees the atmosphere that I carry, the presence of God in my physical body, because physical body is the place where you make decisions because of senses, right? Senses is in a decision that's in your physical body. When you feel senses of something, you take decisions from your brain. So the gate of the gate to make decisions is your physical body, but it's because physical body is supposed to be the living temple of God, right? So when you're living temple of God in it, the presence of God is in it. Your brain accesses the memories of God in the presence of God. Until it rests, it cannot get into your physical body and take something what God has given to you in the physical body. Senses. So the senses to you is nothing but the spiritual gifts, spiritual plans, and its authority in all these three things. Really, you have an access into your physical body. So God wants to lead His presence in your physical body first, so that your brain, your mind cannot freak out with all of its past experiences that is trying to relate to the feelings. So when your feelings are stronger, you can create a thought similar to the feelings. Right? So if the enemy comes to you in your brain with a thought, your body or your feelings tries to communicate or tries to find the same feeling That's counter to your thought.
Mhm.
Rather, what God is doing is, I'll give you my presence and you'll rest.
Mhm.
My presence is not his presence is glory. It is in this glory you have plans, you have authority, you have you have plans, you have authority, and all of his attributes of the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
Right? So all the tools that you have. So that means when the Lord is saying, in other words, the two most important thing for me in the presence of God, means the glory of God, is having his plans are there. Come on, one, the combination of the glory is about two things: the plans of God and the grace of God. The
Rob,
combination.
can I ask a couple questions about the glory?
Mm-hmm.
So is this something that when you're saying that all believers host the doxa or host the glory,
Mm-hmm.
is there a difference? Well, first, maybe answer that question. That's something that all believers experience or host?
Every human being who loves the Lord has access to glory.
So when you say access, does that mean it's something that comes and goes? Or is this something that our experience of it changes because whether or not our mind is in rest?
Yeah. Well, it is. It's in the requirement. Like it's in your requirement, in your desire to grow. Because it's given us free will, right? When you are in a free will, we do what we like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because glory doesn't participate with our will.
Mm-hmm.
Glory participates with the will of God, right? The plans of God. So when I surrender me, I'm surrendering to his plans.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be submission. In John, it talks about submission, abide. And in the abiding, you will make the enemy flee.
Mm.
Abiding gives me his plans. Abiding gives me his glory. So when I'm abiding, you're coming into the glory. You, whether you like it or not, you don't recognize it, but the glory comes on you. Doxa takes over. Abiding has a powerful contonation, a powerful element of bringing on something.
Mm-hmm.
You become somebody. That means you grow from your past to your future.
Mm-hmm.
Present there. I love this. You go from your past into your future. That means you come into your future. That means you pass the time. You come into your time, though it was not your season.
Mm.
That's the
So
power.
is there a difference between the doxa and the manifest presence of the Lord?
It's the same. Mm-mm. The manifestation of
the experience of it, or
it is. It's anything. There are levels, no doubt. There are levels in glory. There are levels in the glory. There's as much as there is levels in heaven, like first heaven, second heaven, third heaven. There's levels in the glory. No matter where you touch, it's same effect.
Mm-hmm.
There is maturity in it.
Mm.
Right? There is maturity. He leads you from grass because you're ready to lay down. He leads you to in the battle. That's another level of maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So there's maturing in the experience of glory of the dog.
Yeah. The grass and war and leading.
Mm-hmm.
There's levels.
So we've had a question. It was back a little ways, but I think now's the time to ask it. So in the glory, are you outside of time?
Yes. You're outside of time. You become the time, outside the season. You bring the rain where the time of the rain isn't there.
Mm.
You go outside the time and bring it. You don't stay there, you bring it. because uh, I was not meant to practically. I was not meant to be there. That was not supposed to happen. We were to do something else because there was an ordination for a church and so on. And he brought us there because we suddenly the enemy didn't know we were coming. Trav didn't know he was coming the next day. He thought he would have 1 week time. But
so the enemy had shown the witch doctor that you were coming, but his understanding of timing or his understanding of any of that, the plans of God, which would hold time or not,
amen,
those are hidden from him. So
yeah, that's the point. The timing is not given to the enemy. The timing is not given to anyone who. The timing is. That's why people don't understand. How is this guy all of a sudden changed and he's doing things that I'm supposed to be doing? He's doing it. Timing, right? Oh, he used to go through this and this and this. The timing. How is that he passed all of this and he did so many of these things and he is doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Even though I'm PhD, but he is not. He's not even past 8th grade. How is he doing what he's doing? Because I did my PhD. Why is he doing it? You know what I mean? It's just that timing that we pass. We go from here to here, not process. Because my Jesus is not a process God. He is a progression God. Right? He took Philip from here to here because this guy needed to know Jesus. That's why he place him here to here. He uses the simple to bring to this place so that God can meet him with the submission. Because he was ready to do crazy thing. I was not meant to. I was not ready. I didn't like to analyze situation, but submit. How it's. I didn't ask how. I asked, let's do it. Here I am, Lord. I didn't ask. I asked him who, but I didn't ask how.
So, I mean, obviously the Lord talked to you about this before it happened because you knew where to go and who to see and all those things. Would you share, if you remember, how long you had been talking to the Lord about this event before it happened?
Yeah, I was praying because I knew the story. I knew what's happening. I knew from a long time that this guy was there because I know him because he was very well known in the city. I know of him. I didn't know that the time would come that far. Even I didn't know it that he would do what he did to the pastors that I know. And that is what made me, okay, Lord, this is the time now. And it was very intriguing because the timing was so powerful because Darren Wilson came in the right time. You see the point? It's Darren Wilson's coming and the pastor died, the newspaper showed up, I come in. That's all set up by God to say, to demonstrate and saying, demonstrate to the world, knowing that enemy is insecure. I'm not. He doesn't carry the presence of God. I do. I carry doxa. Enemy carries shame. So if I remind him the shame, he loses power. If I remind myself shame, I give up my power. Right? So, but if I remind me that, oh my goodness, I want to know this authority that I have. The authority that I have. The funny thing with authority is it takes you to see how this authority would function in the dark place. It would not show you how, it would share you who. You see, if I know
who to show up with so that I can hold the how.
Yes. I didn't know how it's going to happen. I know who. Who and where I should be going.
That's good.
So, and I only knew these two things. I didn't know any details at all. I know details. I know details. You know, how powerful he would be doing, what mantras he would be doing. I wanted to go see it. You know, so that's what the curious is. What kind of demons were he using? I didn't know. I didn't know.
So he disappeared after that, right? I mean,
he disappeared. Yeah, he lost when he was gone. He didn't show up again. But I believe his wife is doing it in another place. But they couldn't do that. I don't think they're not doing that in the same place. They lost something. But his wife is trying to come up with this. Yeah. We don't know where this guy is yet.
Okay. So I'm going to shift just slightly, because I think that this is a good opportunity for people that are new to the ministry or have had questions why we do certain types of videos and why we go after emotional healing so much. So you've mentioned before in different lives that your was it, I forget which paper it was, but your like final for seminary that you did a study of demonology. And when you mentioned it in the past, you're like, I would go and talk to all these heads of witchcraft, the highest of the highs in all of these different religions. And that when you came, that their authority or their ability to curse you or their ability to do the witchcraft or whatever that was specific to them was disabled, similar to what we saw in this filming. And you know, we get questions about spiritual warfare often, but we don't often teach direct spiritual warfare in this group or through the ministry. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not like we're not experiencing spiritual warfare, and it's not like things are not happening. I mean, you came up with the Lord through maturity in a land where you say that there are like 3.5 million gods. So it's not that, you know, we're hiding our heads in the sand when it comes to demonology or anything like that. The wealth, the wisdom that you have and the experience that you've carried gives you a different perspective. And I think that I have enjoyed hearing that, but I would love for you to share it with others.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the spiritual warfare is not meant for me. It is meant for the Lord. He says, be still. Know that I'm God. I am the one who fights for you, not you. But I'll give you tools to go fight. But your tools are from me. See, for me, spiritual warfare is to gain faith. If that is spiritual warfare to gain faith, I'll take it. It's not going fighting against the demons. They'll kill you. Yeah. If you fight the demons, you're done. You're absolutely done. You're not meant to, no matter how much you take it on from God, you cannot fight demons. You cannot fight demons. They are more powerful than you. You have no idea. They can do anything to us if you fight against them. They will fight. They will definitely fight. But you need to recognize you're there to fight, and you're fighting for a soul, not to experience the showdown. You know, it's spiritual warfare. I mean, Jesus never came to the world to teach us spiritual warfare. He didn't teach us SRA. He didn't come to teach us, you know, who is doing what and what. No, he taught us to go after people, to give them power and authority, healing from demons, healing from diseases. That's our job. Luke chapter 1, verse 9. Sorry, Luke chapter 9, verse 1. He gave his disciples power and authority that coming against demons and diseases. It is not to heal the plans of demons, to heal the plans of the enemy. That means take away the plans of the enemy in people and take away authority of the demons, power of authority in demons called diseases. We're going after. That's the only two biggest focus that God has given to us. Heal the sick and heal the oppression. That's a job. You cannot go to heal them from spiritual authority. It's the only thing that you go with is doxa. So whatever level of doxa you get in, you're going after healing the plans of the enemy and healing the sick, which is the power of the demons in it. It's our purpose of living in this world is to become power and authority. It's show the power and authority of Jesus, not to show spiritual authority to go in. Can I tell you a secret?
Please.
Yeah.
I always like when you get in that space. So
the secret is no one fasted for me, not I fasted to go there. Even though Jesus said these things will go with power and with fasting and praying. Fasting and praying is to heal me, not heal them.
That's a flip. Yeah.
It is a flip. It's heal me, not them. But if I have doxa, I don't need fasting and praying. That makes me curious to see what is in that world that I can learn my dad. Because Moses said it. In the secret of Moses, he said, Lord, show me your ways that I might know you and know your grace. Show me your ways so that I know you and know your treasures for me.
That's so good.
See, plans are hidden in the process. Plans are hidden in the progression. Show me your way so that I know you, so I can get to know your plans for me. That means it comes in knowing his way so that I know know him. When I want to know his plans, I want to know him, not me. It's not about how I would do this. It's not about how I do it. How will I do it? But knowing him is knowing his plans. Right? Knowing him is knowing his plans. The more I know him, the more he reveals. The more I want to know me, the more I'm creating a space. I'm creating a space between his ways and his grace. You see the point?
We have a question here, Ravi. Regina asks, so does fasting and praying open you up to be receiving the glory or the doxa better?
Well, yeah, obviously, yes, absolutely. The more you get healed, the more doxa is available. But the more you rejoice him, you come into the presence in gratefulness every day. That's more powerful than fasting and praying. Because rejoicing is not a remedy. It's fasting and praying is a remedy, but gratefulness is not a remedy. It's a lifestyle that you take on. You see, for everything you're grateful. For everything you say, oh my, everything you see the present value of what he has given to you today. You see the value in everything that you do. You're grateful in everything that you do. So that is still fasting and praying through gratefulness. I don't. That's why I love this teaching because I don't like fasting. So he said that you can substitute gratefulness to fasting and praying, or substitute fasting and praying to gratefulness. But gratefulness is everlasting, ever ending. It's constantly going after. But when I don't get into gratefulness, I don't know if I'm not able to be grateful 3 times a day, at least 3 times a day, you need fasting and praying to remind me to be grateful. Fasting gets me to gratefulness. Not
That's good.
he heals me, but the way you become grateful is because you're getting healed. But gratefulness takes away my past, brings me into the future, so that I can bring it to present.
That's so good.
Right.
Well, one of the last things I want to dive into, because our time is wrapping up today, even though I'm so hesitant to pull us to an end here because it's such a great conversation. So one of the things that I want to hit on is that, because this was a new way for me to think when I was introduced to the ministry and went through coaching. Just this abiding in the presence of the Lord, being with the Lord, and allowing his presence, allowing him and his plans to manifest through me by me being at rest with him. But there was where I want to go is that to talk about coaching, because the way that you go about coaching is a different way. So you go about, there's the discovery call, which we know, and that the discovery call is where the healing happens. Like you've been interceding, the Lord gives you the names of people that call you. You've been interceding for the time that he's given you. The healing happens in discovery. And then you go through the discipleship. But the whole premise of the RT4, the Radical Transformation 4, is the healing of the memories, the healing of the thoughts and the behaviors, so that you can be restored to your spiritual authority. Can you connect that restoration there with the doxa?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, in RT4 model, it's actually, I love this when somebody told this, it's a tool. Yes, it's a healing tool, but it's a revival tool.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in discovery call is people get healed in the 3 areas that they're oppressive from. Memories, emotions, behaviors. They get healed from these 3 things. So what happens, the reason when they get healed of these 3 things in discovery call, they immediately connect to spiritual authority. That's the point of discovery call, is to discover value and purpose.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I love discovery calls, because number one, I love discovery calls because I love to learn people. I get excited. I mean, these days I'm getting excited because I'm enjoying their joy in me. That's to me, it's dopamine.
Yeah.
To me, it's to learn people, how they think, how they become available for Jesus, and what God gave them to lead purpose and value in people in journey. It's a classic example of God. Because I want to bring in this guy. Ben keeps talking. Ben, my good friend of Ben Grover, introduced me to this guy. That's a fascinating man. It's a fascinating story. He was a devout Muslim. His name is Yahya, and I'm using his name. His name, because he's a very well-known speaker. Very well-known speaker. Amazing. And he was devoted Muslim, and when he received a phone, when we talked in discovery call, I know he was a very intellectual person. A very intellectual person. He was speaker, and he's a very high-end motivational speaker, very high-end, and he knows how to defend his values, defend his beliefs. And when I came in, come on, it seems I said some things that maybe he should come and share this testimony. Now, I spoke to him in March, and now when I saw recently his post, he shares he became a Christian. He became a believer. I mean, I led him to Jesus in March, this few months back, and I was a total transformation. I was shocked. Why? Because what I gave him is Jesus and how to connect his value and purpose to his restlessness. So he was healed from anxiousness, obsessiveness, insecurity. One of those three got healed then. And now he works from doxa consistently. And you can see his videos. Yaya, you can see it in Instagram. He professes Jesus so publicly. His name is Yaya. It's just amazing story. I haven't talked to him yet, and I want to know his stories. What happened after that? And he tells the world what I said, and I need to go check it out.
Yeah.
I think anyway, it doesn't matter. But it was so. My point in saying that is that, and what I love about discipleship is when people get healed of these three things in a day, in a one call, boom, people change. What happens is when I suggest people to go into discipleship because they got healed, they have to have what I call learning new emotions, new behaviors, new beliefs. These are three which make decisions from there. So when they practice these three things in different way, every day, every once a week, and I speak to them and give them homework, intense homework, with learning Jesus and things like that. They get to know what they're getting to know. What I love about that is they are getting to know what Moses got to know. 5 weeks, I get them into levels. First level, second level, third level of glory. They knowing it. I never told this to anybody. I never told the secret to anybody. None of another coaching people that I've talked to. I get them into first, second, third level of glory. I love it. I love how these three levels really make them to be. I mean, Yaya, he's unshakable. He uses the same skill that he used to go preach and teach his motivational speaker. Now he's become motivational speaker for Jesus now. So he lives in these three levels in whatever fashion that he is. Or he knows how to rest. He knows how to inquire, and he knows how to lead. Come on. Them just three levels of understanding. It's just fascinating how he does it. So yeah, that's the point of bringing a revival tool to bring people into their value and purpose.
That's good. Well, we have come to the end of our live today. And before we wrap everything up, we're going to pray for you all. So thank you so much for joining us. And Ravi, would you pray for people?
Yeah. Well,
even if you want to do ministry, you can go for it.
No, it's good. I want to introduce you. I want to invite you to do two things to me. To invite you to something that we're going to do. I didn't tell this to Jessica, but if you pray, if anyone is listening to me, if you should pray, we're doing a trip to Israel. I don't know when. Sometime
October 11th through the 17th, I believe.
This year, right?
Yeah.
When the Lord told me to go there, He actually didn't tell me to go there. He was supposed to be there 3 times or 2 times paid. He did not tell me to go there. This is my first time going to Israel, and he called this trip as rediscovering God. And he told me that he's going to give me some secrets that he would tell me what he did and who and what and what. I'm curious. So I want you to join me, because the thing is, as much of believers show up, I'm forcing Jesus to come and share things. It's a sneaky way of saying, you are in trouble. No, I'm in trouble, Lord. You need to come. So I love to go. I love to come together as a worship, and we're doing not only sightseeing. We're going to go minister. This is where I'm get excited. Go minister Jesus to people. Who don't know who Jesus is, because we're bringing two two different organizations, Roman Catholics and Protestants together in Israel. And that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about sightseeing, but I'm excited of mission that we're going after. Yeah, outreach in God's country. Come on. So join me if you can, October. In October, and that's in the website, I believe, this year.
We can put the link in the comments for everyone so you can find out how to sign up for the Israel trip.
Yes, amen. Let's pray. Daddy, thank you so much for today. What a day just to understand your power and authority that is in the ozone of your glory. Jesus, anyone who's asking to understand you in the levels, no matter what level that you're inviting us, we want to invite ourselves into the glory. As you said, Daddy, glory, the definition of glory is sitting around your face. Beholding your face. What a definition, Daddy. What a definition. Beholding your face. Anna, thank you so much, Daddy. Thank you so much to embrace that face into me today. I feel the goosebumps. I feel all the bumps that I am excited to know you today. Jesus, you said glory is transferable. I transfer your face to anyone who's asking, lifting his two hands up to the skies and say, I want the glory. Surely, if you're listening to me, this glory is coming. Glad, some name from glad. Jesus is coming into you through this glory. Anyone who wants this, receive it in Jesus' name. This is not foo-foo. I promise you. This is what made that witchcraft lose all its powers. The glory. Because glory gives you rest and takes you into levels of understanding God. You want to understand God, not the enemy. Jesus, give everyone who desires to rest in you this chance and this availability to rest. Abide in them. Jesus, we love you for who you are. Thank you for this time. Thank you for these people who are listening to me and listening to you today. Faithfully coming Sunday after Sunday. Would you bless them, Nana? Would you bless their faithfulness? Would you bless them? Would you bless their curiosity mind? And they would take this glory, what has been received today, to places that nobody knows. Nobody can go. Come on. Let them become investors of glory in the strongholds. Let them become investors of glory in the strongholds that they can go to. Thank you, Lord. Bless them and surprise them today. In Jesus, our Daddy's name. Amen.